If you're interested in correct score football trading on the Betfair Exchange, then you are in for a treat. We've got an extended video where we're going to be showing you lots of different ways to trade the correct score market, even if you're a beginner, even if you have no idea how to predict the final score. Tons of live demonstrations. Go grab a nice cold beer or a six-pack and let's get into it. So the idea behind the ladder system, it's more of a trading concept or technique rather than a specific system or strategy. But the idea is you will pick out a cluster of correct scores with those scores being connected to each other, kind of like what you're seeing on the screen right now, which will allow you to ladder up as each goal goes in. So laddering up, meaning you're going to lay off the profit on certain scores as you pass through them, which is going to put more profit on the next score up the ladder. And in the most ideal match, you're going to end up maximizing the profit on the scores in the upper half of the ladder and typically late on in the match. And you might hit the jackpot hitting a late target score, which has got all the profit sitting on it. Okay, that's the ideal scenario, which is not always going to play out, as we know. But the best part, and you've probably seen it in the videos, is that as we lay off each score, it puts more profit on our green scores, but it also lowers the liability on our red scores. So if we ever fall off the ladder, like with an unexpected goal to the underdog that puts us on a dead score, or if the match just suddenly goes goal crazy, we've at least mitigated the loss that we're going to take. Or maybe even we're just going to break even on the trade. Remember, losses are unavoidable and they are inevitable. You have to accept that there will be losses. The best thing to do is to try and minimize any losses that you do take when you have to take them. But anyway, the main idea behind minimizing your loss is that it's going to allow you another chance to trade another match and to maybe hit that perfect ladder. The perfect ladder being something like we lay off the 0-0, we put more profit on the 1-0, it hits 1-0, we lay that off to put even more profit on the 2-0, and so on and so on, and we hit a late winner, which gives us a pretty big win in relevance to our stake. So anyway, you're seeing this technique in most of the correct score trades that you do see on this channel. We also teach it to our members in our members only courses in much more detail. But we're going to get into some real life demonstrations right now on the correct score market, and you're going to get an idea and see the laddering system with your very own eyes in some of these trades. Anyway, let's get into that right now. But before we do, we'd really love it if you could just hit the like button to support the channel. But also, if you like this subject, you like videos like this, and you want to see more videos like this, hit the like button. The YouTube algorithm will reward you with more videos just like this. So anyway, let's dive into it now. Some correct score trading action taken from the Betfair Exchange. We're going to trade the correct score market in this Spanish Copa del Rey match with Burgos against Valencia. Valencia here just above evens. So we're going to turn to the football trading genie to give us a target score formula to use on this match to open the trade. So we just press correct score trading strategy. It's crunching all the numbers. It's crunching obviously the XG, recent correct scores, goal timings, and it's coming up obviously in favour. Plan A is on Valencia, which and then Plan B is covering the draw, some sort of protection. So we've got 1-0, 2-0, 2-1 and 3-2 in favour of Valencia, and the 1-1 as a sort of plan B. So anyway, let's get set up. So we got set up here, and what you can see is that I've actually gone a little bit against the genie on this one. So I've gone for the 1-0, 2-0, 1-1 and 2-1, but instead of the 3-2, I've gone for the 3-1 in favour of Valencia. It just makes a little bit more sense to me. And of course, you're free to do that. Okay, the genie is obviously making suggestions. You don't have to blindly follow it, and in this case it just makes a little bit more sense to me. Now anyway, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Will I regret going against the genie suggestion on this one? We will see. It's just about to kick off from the Spanish Copa del Rey, Burgos against Valencia. So we're about 23 minutes in on this one, and Valencia took an early lead around the 10th minute. So we're on that 0-1 score, and obviously with so much time left on the match, we've got to anticipate that there's going to be more goals scored. So we will lay this down to 0 and see where that takes us. Actually, yeah, just put it in at 20. just keep it simple. So yeah, we're going to lay it down to practically 0, which puts more green on the green scores, but it also just lowers the risk on this trade overall. 1 goal in the first half with the type of target score formula we've covered here. 1 goal in the first half is fine, but 2 goals in the first half would be a little bit annoying, especially if it goes on to the 2-0. We don't have much after that with regards to the 3-0. So anyway, we're taking some early action on this one. We're laying off the 1-0 score, 1-0 to Valencia, and let's see what happens next. So we just reached half time, and it's still the 1-0 to Valencia. So we're in a good position because we're on 1-0 on the next 2 possible score lines. And as I said, when you're trading the correct score market, it's like a game of chess. You've always got to think 1 or 2 moves ahead. And our next possible scores are pretty good. Okay, the 0-2 and the 1-1. If it goes to 1-1, we're still strong with the 1-2 and the 1-3 after that. But anyway, have a quick look at this data. And so we've plugged in these XG numbers, and it's a pretty low XG, isn't it? Right? Projected match result, draw. I mean, we have had a goal in the real match, but that's clearly outperforming the XG. So, I mean, based on this, there's no point getting any further liability into the market. We're going to let it run. We're going to remain on the 0-1. Let's see what that next goal does for us, if we even get the next goal. Based on this XG, we might not get one at all. So let's see what happens though. It's 1-0 to Valencia at half time. We're not going to take any action. Let's see what happens in the second half. Well, we did get another goal, and we got it fairly early into the second half, which is both good news and bad news for us. It means that pretty much, I mean, we're probably going to have to take the profit now because we don't have 3-0 covered to Valencia. So let's just lock it in and take it. So like I said, it's good news and bad news. If we're going to hit that 2-0 score and we want to try and lock in the majority of that £107 of green, we'd prefer to hit that 2-0 later on in the match. As it is, we've hit it early, so we'll take a profit, just not the type of profit we were initially looking for. But anyway, yeah, you can't argue with a profit, so we'll get it locked in. There are other options we could have potentially taken, was to again remove all the green from that 0-2 and try and look for Burgos to try and get a goal in this one, because we did obviously have 2-1 and 3-1. However, look, you saw the data at half time. This is probably as good as it's going to get. We're not going to take some sort of wild chance to try and increase our profit. Just take the profit and move on. Okay, simple as that. So Burgos 0, Valencia 2. It's a pretty straightforward, pretty uneventful trade, to be honest, but these are the types of correct score trades which pay the bills ultimately. So anyway, Burgos 0, Valencia 2. We're out on the 52nd minute. So we've got this match from German Bundesliga 2 that we're going to be trading. It's Dresden against Firth, and as you can see, Dresden are a favourite. We're going to trade the correct score market, so we're going to turn to the AI and the football trading genie to give us a target score formula to follow on this one. It's going to crunch all the numbers, it's going to tell us what it's expecting, and it does say expecting a narrow home win, probably around a 2-1 result. But of course, as traders, we're going to cover scores around that, and the plan A covers 1-0, 2-0, 2-1. Plan B is covering draws 1-1 and 2-2. So anyway, let's get set up, and looks like I got set up in a nick of time. Okay, it's just kicked off. So anyway, we've got the scores covered, as you can see, the 1-0, 1-1, 2-0, 2-1 and the 2-2. Okay, so everything is set and ready to go, and yep, that's it. So it's going to be interesting. We'll give you more updates in play. We're just reached half time here. It's Dresden 1, Firth 0, with Dresden taking the lead on the 35th minute. So we're on a green score at half time. We've got all our scores still alive, so that's probably one of the best positions you can be in, to be on a green score with all your scores still alive. So we're in a strong position on this one. So you might think, well, look there, we could just lock in the profits. Well, when you're in a strong position, that's when you need to try and maximize your profits. So anyway, we are expecting more goals in the second half. So what we will do is we will lay off all the green on the 1-0 and put that down to 0 basically, and that will put us in a position. You can see it's putting more green on the other green scores, and it's putting less red on the red scores. So it's a strong move to make. If this does remain 1-0, it just means we break even, but we've got the next 2 possible scores with a little bit more green now, and then depending on the goal timings, we can trade from there when the next goal goes in. So it's all dependent
on if and when that next goal is scored. So let's give you more updates in the second half. But half-time, so far so good. It's Dresden 1, Firth 0. 52 minutes, we just hit 2-0 to Dresden. So the decision to obviously lay off that 1-0 was the correct one. We've now lost the 1-1. We're on the 2-0, which is interesting. So we're on a 2-0. We've got a fair amount of green on that. The cash out is only offering us around 27.50 at the moment if we wanted to lock it in. Keep in mind we don't have 3-0 covered also. But anyway, what we will do is we're going to just start to try and lower the overall liability on this trade once again. So we'll lay off some of the green on the 2-0. Ideally for us, if Firth can get on the score sheet, that would be quite good for us. So I'm going to try and lay this off. I might have to just move it so we can get taken in this clip. Well, actually, we'll let it run. But anyway, what that will do is it will just lower the overall risk on this trade down to £50. Obviously, a third goal for Dresden at this stage, then the trade would be dead, but we're not going to be losing our full stake or anything like that. We're going to let Time Decay do its job, and then we will check in a little bit later on. But ideally, if we can get on a 2-1, then that's our most ideal scenario, or it just remains 2-0 for a bit longer. Let's see what happens. 52 minutes on the clock. It's Dresden 2, Firth 0. So we're at the 78th minute of this one, heading into the final 10 minutes. The price on 2-0's gone below even, so I took the liberty to lay off our final risk once it hit evens, just so there's no more risk in the market, because obviously another goal to Dresden, we were exposed on the 3-0, and as it stands, I mean, Firth don't look like they're going to score, but we do have better green on the 2-1 and the 2-2. So as it stands, we're just happy to just let this run. Okay, we'll let this run on the 2-0. If it remains 2-0, we collect £61. Another goal to Dresden would obviously put us to break even, but we're really trying to position ourselves for a 2-1. A 2-1 to Dresden would be what really makes the money for us. So anyway, that's the position headed into the final stages. Let's see what happens. It's 2-0 to Dresden. So here we are, 92nd minute, and it looks like this is just going to finish as a 2-0 win for Dresden. So pretty straightforward. Obviously, that was one of our target scores. We didn't have the 3-0 covered, but you saw how we traded it out, and you just saw as the match developed, we're slowly but surely trying to lower our risk and remove the risk and just put ourselves in a position to profit. And you obviously saw the reasons why I left the green on the 2-0. We had nothing on the 3-0, mainly because we were trying to get that goal for Firth, which would have substantially increased our profits. Didn't happen in this one, but we still made a very nice return. Okay, £61. That is it. Very simple, almost boring correct score trade, and this is going to be probably the vast majority of your correct score trades. It's just going to be ones where you collect some profits and you just move on. So anyway, that's the final score. Dresden 2, Firth 0.
So a good couple of examples for you to just check out there. Not quite the perfect ladder, but you did see how it works with, say, laying off the 1-0. You put the 1-0 down to 0. It puts more green on the next possible scores. You hit that. And then obviously you do have the opportunity to go again, depending on what the data is telling you. But in those examples, we just took the profit and then we moved on. But anyway, we're going to get into some more of these. But just to be clear, you might have seen the Football Trading Genie. It's helping us pick out the target score formula. And obviously, it can help you to trade any market, any match, any time on the Betfair exchange. So if you are interested in learning more about this, getting a full demo of it, or just getting it for yourself, scan the QR code that is on the screen, or click the links that are in the description of this video. It's a great bit of kit. It's your own AI-powered football trading assistant, and it's absolutely priceless as a time saver. So as said, look, if you want to learn more, scan the QR code, or there are links in the description for you to check out if you want. Anyway, let's get into more real-life trading demonstrations, and more demonstrations where we're going to use the Football Trading Genie to pick out those target scores, and we're going to trade it. Let's check it out now.
We're going to be trading Liverpool versus Burnley from the Premier League. We're going to trade the correct score market, and we're going to use AI to help us trade it. So anyway, Football Trading Genie, we're going to click on the correct score trading prompt, and it's going to crunch the numbers, and it's going to give us a target score formula, which I can see already. It's favouring Liverpool. No huge surprise. I mean, Liverpool's strong favourites for this, and it's favouring a high scoring win in favour of Liverpool. So 3-0, 3-1, 2-0, 2-1, and then the 1-1 as a plan B. So pretty confident in favour of Liverpool. So let's get set up. And so we're all set up on these scores. As you can see, they're all covered, and we've dutched the scores for an even green amount of £98 on each score. But we're going to be trading it, so it's going to be interesting. We'll give you more updates in play. Just gone half-time here. It's Liverpool 1, Burnley 0 at half-time. So let's have a look at the correct score market and see how that looks for us now. So overall, could lock in a green. We're in the green situation. Obviously 1-0. Not one of our target scores, but the next two possible scores, 1-1 or 2-0, are target scores. So this is going precisely in the right direction. Ideally, with this sort of target score formula, we would probably, if we were going to choose any sort of score at half-time, we'd probably want the 1-0. We'd probably want the 1-0 more than the 2-0. Okay, so what we would look for in the second half is Liverpool to go 2-0 up, then we're on the green score, then we will obviously reassess the situation as it stands. But anyway, yep, it's 1-0, we're on a red score, but actually that is all part of the plan. Liverpool 1, Burnley 0. We'll give you more updates in the second half. 66 minutes on the clock, it's a turn up for the books. Burnley have just equalised. Good news is we had the 1-1 covered as part of our plan B. So what we will do, because we want to start to try and lower the risk, and obviously we've still got 2-1 and 3-1 in favour of the Liverpool win, and we're still kind of expecting that Liverpool win, bit of a setback for them. So we will go down to pretty much 0 on the 1-1. I will do that, and one of the reasons for that also is because we've got nothing on the Burnley side at all, do we? So another Burnley goal, if it went 2-1 to Burnley, would absolutely well, it would kill the trade, actually. Yep, it would completely kill it. We wouldn't have any further target scores. So we've got to keep that in mind also. So anyway, we're now in a situation where we're on that 1-1. That's pretty much close to a scratch trade if it remains 1-1. If Burnley do score, yeah, we'll be facing a £55 loss. We'll take that on the chin. At least we've minimised that loss. But probability-wise, we've got 2-1, and then we've also got 3-1 covered. So we're still on track, really. Liverpool 1, Burnley 1, 66 minutes. So we're in time added on this one, and it's looking like it's just going to finish Liverpool 1, Burnley 1. So a bit of a surprise, bit of a turn up for the book on this one. Liverpool were a very short price on this one. Let's have just for curiosity's sake, let's just remind us of the price, the starting price on Liverpool. So yeah, around 1.25. So yeah, a few people going to be a little bit upset by this one, but anyway, the great thing with the correct score market is that even though we were effectively backing Liverpool with our target score formula, we did incorporate the plan B, which the football trading genie gave us, and the 1-1 was part of the plan B. In this case, we've had to use the plan B to end up on a break-even scenario. So anyway, no harm done. We will end up with a scratch trade on this one and then just move on to the next. But that's one of the big benefits of trading the correct score market. As said, even when you do get it wrong, there's still a good chance where you can get a scratch trade, get a break even, sometimes even profit. So anyway, we're out on this one. Probably the final score: Liverpool 1, Burnley 1. So we're going to use AI to help us trade this match between Watford and Millwall from the English Championship, and we're going to be trading the correct score market also. So one of the most complex markets to trade, one of the most advanced markets to trade. We're going to be using the football trading genie to give us a target score formula. It is as simple as just clicking on that correct score trading strategy, and it's going to crunch all the numbers. And interestingly, I can already see this is going to be interesting. It's going in favour of the underdog on this one. Okay, so always makes me a little bit nervous, but at the end of the day, it's the AI that's crunched the numbers. Maybe it's seen a mistake in the market or something like that. But yeah, it's gone in favour of Millwall. So anyway, let's get set up on this one. So we're all set up. Watford against Millwall. We've gone on these scores in favour of Millwall. Slightly in favour. I mean, we've still got a Watford win covered on the 2-1. You've still got a 1-1 covered as part of the plan B also, but the scores in favour of Millwall: 2-0, the 2-1 and the 3-1. So very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Not something I would have picked out myself. So it's going to be, as I said, interesting to see how this one develops. Watford against Millwall just about to kick off. We'll give you more updates in play. Half time in this one: Watford 0, Millwall 0. So We remember to hit on any of our target scores, we're going to need 2 goals in the second half. So it's time. This is the time to be aggressive, and we're going to get our full stake in the market, laying off this 0-0. Keep in mind, we enter the correct score trades with half our stake. Ideally, we don't have to put more of our stake into the market if everything goes to plan. But if we end up in situations like this, that's when we get our full stake into the market and we try and be aggressive. So by doing this, any goal is going to lower the overall liability on the trade, and then we'll reassess the position at that particular point. But we've still got some good green if we can catch it. It's obviously looking less likely with a 0-0 at half time, but 2 goals in the second half, if it is a 2-0 to Millwall scenario or a 1-1, that would put us in the green. Anyway, let's see what happens in the second half. We've just had the opening goal in this one, and it has gone to Millwall. So the football trading genie did lead us down the path of favouring the underdog in this one, Millwall, which we've done. So we're on a 0-1, but of course we still need another goal to get on the green score. You've got a few different options at this stage, but with 20 minutes left and it's been pretty tight match so far, we're just going to leave it. Okay, we're just going to leave the green, oh sorry, not the green, we're going to leave the red on the 1-0 and just kind of take it on the chin if it does remain 1-0. But we are positioned nicely if there is another goal. Okay, green score on the 1-1 if Watford equalise. Bigger green on the 2-0 to Millwall. Okay, so not sure what happened there. Anyway, maybe Betfair's about to melt down on us. Anyway, that is the situation. Watford 0, Millwall 1. Let's see what happens with the 20 minutes that we have left on the clock. 81 minutes on the clock, and Millwall have just doubled the lead. So we will start to lay off some of this. And let me just do this now. Let me just lay off some of this and get this secured, because 3-0 to Millwall actually isn't covered. I guess, well, 3-0 to Millwall was a pretty big long shot at the start, wasn't it? But anyway, now we're here. We're on this 0-2. Remember, though, we've still got big green on that 2-1 and also that 3-1. So when you're trading the correct score market, you always want to put yourself in a position where that next goal is going to improve your situation. So I will lay off the 0-2 even more, and that would leave us in a situation of 164 profit on the 0-2. If it does go to the 0-3, which wasn't one of our original target scores, we would level up 273 profit. And the big jackpot would be if Watford can pull one back to make it 2-1. If Watford pull one back, make it 2-1, and then Millwall score again, yeah, we've got 4 figures of profit sitting on those scores. So anyway, very nice call from the football trading genie with this one to lead us down the path of covering Millwall. With this, it's working out nicely. We're now in a position where we know we're going to profit. It's just a matter of by how much. Watford 0, Millwall 2 on 83 minutes. We're in the late stages now, and it looks like that's probably going to be the final score. Watford 0, Millwall 2, which was one of our target scores right at the start of this. And yeah, I mean, I did doubt it. I'm a little bit nervous and typically wouldn't really go against the home favourite. But anyway, the football trading genie has come up with it. We've covered the 2-0 to Millwall, and it's a comfortable Millwall 2-0 win. So not sure how it did that, but anyway, you saw how the trade played out. Very, very tight until we got the breakthrough on the 68th minute, and then we just waited patiently, landed on the 2-0. We got 165 locked in. We positioned ourselves to leverage up and make a bigger profit if there was another goal. Didn't transpire this time, but 165 profit landed. Final score, Watford 0, Millwall 2.
So I do get a lot of emails from beginners who follow this channel. They've looked at correct score trading, and they will often say something along the lines of, well, it seems like it's high risk. It seems like it's too complex. I'll stay away from that. So much so that many are afraid of going anywhere near the market. Now, to be fair, it can be high risk if you go in without a plan. But in this video, we're going to show you how you can structure your correct score trading to keep that risk under control, especially if you're still building confidence. So the first thing that you could look at would be more tradable scores you cover, the better. In most of these examples that we're showing you, we're typically covering 5 scores, but you could cover 6 or 7. It will lower your risk. It will improve your strike rate. It just means that the profit potential that you could make per trade will be slightly lower. But if you're aiming to just lower the risk, build up your confidence, covering more scores can be a big help. You could also consider, and we consider this even if you're a beginner or a pro, enter light then scale in later. That means do not commit your whole stake to the market at kickoff. Preferably, you want to enter with around 50% of your stake and only use the other 50% if you potentially get in trouble, or you just want to be aggressive, or you really want to maximize your profits. So don't enter with your full stake in the market, because you're not really going to give yourself much movement later on if things do go a little bit pear-shaped. So do keep that in mind. The third tip is just to say, look, you know what? Why not just use smaller stakes overall? A lot of people might look at the market and say, well, yeah, this is too risky for me. Well, why not just lower your stakes? Lower your stakes, learn the market, and then slowly scale them up. It's not a big deal to lower your stakes. It's pretty much like going to the gym. You don't want to overdo it. Start on the smaller weights and work yourself up. A lot of people, they let their ego get to them and they don't want to start on the smaller weights and they end up doing their back in. So anyway, let's go on to number 4. Let the AI and the XG guide your selection. Now, a lot of people who are new to football trading, new to correct score trading, they always say, well, I can follow the strategies, but when I'm in the market, I just don't know what to do. This might have been a fair excuse 5-6 years ago, but today in the world we live in, it's not really an excuse anymore, because we have AI and we have XG, which can help us guide the selection. And so you could just follow the simple system that we've been exploring in other videos. It is the AI plus XG stack system. Okay. Now with this, you would follow AI to find your opening trades. And if we're applying this to the correct score market, we would use AI to just find our opening target scores to cover. You would open the trade, and then we're just going to use the XG to guide us in play and tell us whether we should hold our position, whether we should scale up, be aggressive, maybe we should exit early. The XG can reveal all. So think of it as we're entering the market at the start of the match, or we're opening a trade because we think we're right. We think we're going to be right. You wouldn't enter a trade otherwise, right? However, we're using the XG to confirm that we're still right as the match develops, as the market develops further. And if we're not right, then we can pivot and there's stuff we can do. So anyway, that is the AI plus XG stack system. This can help to guide you with your trades. And we're going to give you some examples of that right now, where we're going to be using the Football Trading Genie AI to pick out some target scores to open the match with. And then we're going to use the XG to guide us and just go from there. At the same time, trying to keep it as low risk as possible. So let's dive into some real life demonstrations of this right now. But before we do, it would be great if you could hit the like button to support the channel. If you do like videos and you like this sort of subject, click the like button. You will get more videos just like this from the YouTube algorithm. Simple as that. Let's dive into it right now. Some real life trading demonstrations where we're going to be trading the correct score market using the AI plus the XG, trying to keep it as low risk as possible.
Trade this match from German Bundesliga 2. It's Nuremberg versus Elfsberg. You can see it's a very even match and it's hard to really work out which team we should be covering. We're going to be trading the correct score market. So we're definitely going to turn to the AI to give us the target score formula and also just tell us which team we should be favouring out of these two. Okay, so we don't have to go and do any sort of research on this one. We're just going to let the AI crunch the numbers. And from the looks of it, suggesting we should be focusing on the away team here, okay? So, Nuremberg versus Elfsberg. So, Elfsberg are the away team. 1-2, 0-2, 1-3, and then a plan B is a 1-1 and a 2-2. So, we're kind of looking at both teams scoring also. Anyway, we're going to get set up. And so, we're all set up now on the correct score market. So, as you can see, I've gone for a split stake approach. And looking at it, obviously, we're going in favour of the away team, according to the Football Trading Genie. But we're still sort of kind of looking for both teams to score. So even if the home team does take the lead, it's not going to be the end of the world. And we're going to try and see if we can trade our way out of it. Trade our way out of it to a profit. That's the plan anyway. We'll give you more updates in play. Half time here, it's Nürnberg 0, Elversberg 1. So the team we have favoured, it's going in their favour. Remember, we've got 2-0 to Elversberg covered. We've also got the 1-1 covered also. So we're covered green on the next possible score lines. There's also some profit ready to take. It's not quite the profit we're looking for right now. We're in a pretty good position with this. So anyway, at half time, it's 5.6 to lay. We're going to anticipate there's going to be more goals, but we don't have to necessarily take that price. We can just put an order in. Okay, so it's basically like placing a bet in the future. So we're going to place a lay order to lay off and go full liability against our 0-1 once the price hits 4. Okay, if there's a goal before that, then we'll reassess at that particular point. But we're going to do that. We're going to be aggressive and expect that there will be at least another goal in the second half, and then we'll just trade from there. So we're not taking the price that is there right now, 5.5. We're going to go in lower and lay it off at 4. We'll give you more updates during the second half. We've had a goal on the 59th minute. It's the equaliser from Nürnberg. So obviously that 2-0 score is now dead, but we're still alive on a 1-1, a 1-2 and a 1-3 and a 2-2. So we are still alive in this one. Bit of a danger that the 2-1 to Nürnberg. So we're going to have to go against this 1-1 and be quite aggressive. So we're going to basically just move the liability. Okay, we've got £100 liability on all the other scores. We're going to put the £100 liability on the 1-1. So let's do that. And the big benefit of doing that is it's going to put more green on the green scores, as you can see, and it's also going to lower down the potential red that we have on that 2-1 down to just £32. So anyway, we're now in a situation with half an hour left. We would like a goal. Our worst case scenario is if it just remains 1-1, but we've got no reason to believe there won't be more goals in this one. So ideally, a goal to Elversberg would be very nice. Let's see what happens. 1-1 on 59 minutes. 67 minutes on the clock. We've had another goal and it's gone to Elversberg. That was the most ideal scenario for us. We've got £32 of liability that we're going to immediately lay off on the 1-2, which will remove all risk from this trade. All risk is now removed from this trade. It is a matter of we're going to make a profit. It's just a matter of how much. Okay, so as it stands, we're on the 1-2. We've got more green on that 1-3, also on the 2-2. So we got a little bit to play with here. So what I will do, just to even it out, so no matter who scores, we're gonna make a bit more green. So hold on, let me actually just do it this way. So we'll lay it off on the from the 2-1. Let me go down a little bit lower. So we've got 158 worth of green on that one. And of course, at the end of the day, there's no hard rule with this, but with 20 minutes left and the fact that we're anticipating more goals, we should put a little bit more green possibly on the 2-2. So anyway, we will do that. Our most ideal scenario really is a 3-1 to Elversberg. That's got the most green on there. But anyway, yeah, we're in a strong position as it stands. There's obviously £200 worth of cash out also available to lock in, but we're not going to do that because of the potential for it to go to 3-1. So anyway, let's see what happens. It's 68 minutes. It's Nürnberg 1, Elversberg 2. 71 minutes. It's just gone 2-2. So it has gone to the 2-2. If anything, it's gone to the 2-2 a little bit too soon for us. But anyway, that's pretty much going to signal the end of this trade, and we will just lock in the profits and then wrap this up. Okay, so let's get it locked in. We're going to lock in 168. And if you do remember, we were looking at a £200 green if we took the profits when it was 2-1 to Elversberg. But you understood the reason why, because we had a much bigger green available if Elversberg could have hit that 3-1. As it stands, they've hit the 2-2, and they've hit the 2-2 very, very quickly. It would have been much more ideal for them to land on that 2-2 later on in the match when this price is odds on to lay off. So that is part and parcel of correct score trading. As I said, you've always got to think, what is that next goal going to do for you? And sometimes the next goal arriving too soon is not always good news. But anyway, look, we're still walking out with a very nice profit on this one, 169. And interestingly, remember, if we go back to the start of this, the Football Trading Genie, the AI, did tell us to go in favour of the away team in this one, and it's been a good target score formula to follow. Okay, so in the end, we're going to walk away with 169 profit. We could have collected 200 on that last goal, but then again, if it went to 3-1 to Elversberg, that would have been the nice jackpot win. So no regrets at all to try and chase that. 169 locked in, and that's the end of this one. Nuremberg 2, Elversberg 2.
So it's Aberdeen versus Rangers from Scotland. We're going to be trading the correct score market on this one. So we've plugged it into the Football Trading Genie to get the target score formula, which is sending us in this direction. The 0-2, the 1-2, the 0-1, the 0-3 and the 1-1. Not sure why it puts it in that particular order, but anyway, let me show you. We're set up here. So the 1-0, 2-0 and 3-0 in favour of Rangers, and then 1-1 and 2-1. Bit of a plan B should Aberdeen score. So going to be interesting. We'll trade this one in play and we'll give you more updates as it develops. So just dropping in on this one at half time to see how things are going. It's 1-0 to Rangers at the moment. It puts us on a green score, and we're in a good position because we've got next possible scores all covered. So the 2-0 Rangers and a 1-1. So in a very good position, the most ideal position really to be in at half time. Having a look at the XG on this one, it's well, it's not exactly projected to be a very high scorer. Current projected match result is a draw, so there is potential for Aberdeen to be getting back into this. At least that's what the story is so far. So anyway, we're probably going to anticipate there will be at least another goal in this one. We're going to lay off the 0-1 scoreline. Pretty much just we'll just put it down to 0 on that score. Puts more green on the next possible scores, and also just lowers the overall risk should this match suddenly go goal crazy. So it's something you want to prepare yourself for also. Also, there is some green cash out, but we do believe we're in a strong position. We can potentially increase this amount. Let's see what happens with that next goal in this one. So it's Aberdeen 0, Rangers 1. 75 minutes, the second goal of the match has just arrived, and it has gone to 2-0 to Rangers. So we're just letting the market just settle for the moment. We're going to go ahead and look at the data. And so here we are, Aberdeen Rangers. I was just updating the XG, so we did have a goal overdue, which was to Rangers, which they've now just got. So let's update the correct score. And so we're exactly where we should be now, especially in this late stage of the match. So let's just have a look at this situation. So we've got £78 worth of risk in the market. We can obviously green up nicely, but we've got a bigger amount on that 3-0. So what we'll do is we'll just lay it off. I think we'll lay it off and maybe see if we can get another goal in this one. Because we do have potential nice profit on the 0-3 to Rangers. So we don't want to totally ignore that. So let's do this. Let's remove all the risk just to make sure there's no further risk in this one. So nothing can go wrong. And leave ourselves in this final position with 15 minutes left. Very strong position. 2-0 with £72 of profit on it. Next score is the 0-3 with £380 of profit. And then the 1-2 if Aberdeen were to score, which has £192 of profit. You always want to put yourself in a position where you can improve with the next goal being scored. So let's see what happens. Aberdeen 0, Rangers 2, 76 minutes. We're going to make a profit on this. It's just a matter of how much. So the final whistle's just gone on this one. So we are going to land on that 2-0 with the £72 of profit. But of course, we were set up very nicely to increase that profit substantially if there was a further goal late on. And that's what you want to do when you're trading the correct score market. Always put yourself in a position to improve your profit should there be a further goal. In this case, it didn't arrive, but we still made a very nice profit in the end, £72. So in the end, pretty straightforward. It was a nice call of a spread of scores from the Football Trading Genie. 1-0 at half time. 2-0 by 73 minutes. If only all trades were as simple as that. Anyway, Aberdeen 0, Rangers 2, the final score.
And so that trade in the Rangers match was pretty solid, and you could say it felt like one of those pretty low risk trades, as in
we weren't in any sort of trouble. We weren't in any sort of crazy situation where our whole bank was being risked just to try and win the, what was it, 70 odd pounds of profit in that match. Now, one additional tip that I could give to you right now that we didn't give to you right at the start of the video is to focus on matches just like that, where you've got a pretty clear, strong favourite, and you're going to cover, obviously, scorelines in favour of that strong favourite. And if it's low scoring, it's also one of those matches which is pretty easy to control. But anyway, this particular match was a very good example of the AI plus XG stack system we entered, using the AI to give us those target scores. We opened the trade. The XG guided us along. Thankfully, it wasn't too hard a match to trade. There will be harder matches, but it's a very good example of following the stack system. The AI got us in the market. The XG kept us there, and we locked in a profit. So anyway, all very good stuff. Now, if you want to implement AI into your own football trading, then the tool we're using is the Football Trading Genie. If you want to get a full demo of it or further info, scan that QR code that's on the screen, or there are links in the description of this video. This is, or it could be, your own AI-powered football trading assistant, and a great bit of kit, priceless as a time saver. And as we know, look, AI is the future. Trading football with AI is the future. So the sooner you get on it, the better. As said, scan that QR code or click the link in the description if you want to get more info or if you want to get your hands on it and start trading with the Genie today. Anyway, let's dive into it. More real life trading demonstrations coming up right now.
So very close to kick-off on this one. Inter Milan against Napoli. Inter Milan, a strong home favourite on this one. Anyway, we've plugged this in, prompted the Football Trading Genie to give us the target score formula. And just looking at, obviously, it's going to take into account a lot of the recent scores of Inter Milan. And yeah, just having a look at this. 1-0, 2-0, 2-1, 3-1 and 1-1. Two clear home win scenarios. Okay, well anyway, it makes sense. Let me show you what we've covered here. As you can see, we've Dutched the scores 1-0, 1-1, 2-0, 2-1, and that 3-1 score also. So anyway, time to trade it. Matches very close to kickoff. We'll give you more updates in play. So it's just reached half time. We're just checking in on this one. So Inter Milan took an early lead. 1-0 was looking good. The 1-1 has made it a little bit more complicated. So we're on a 1-1 scoreline. That obviously means we've lost our 1-0 and our 2-0 from our target score formula. Let me just bring this down a bit. So what we have still alive is the 1-1 that we're on, the 2-1 and the 3-1. Danger is obviously if Napoli score, it would put us on 2-1, we would be looking at losing our whole stake. So we're going to have to try and take some action. Now let me show you the data on this one. Not really much to see. Okay, so it is 1-1. However, it's a pretty low XG number. They're outperforming their XG number with the goals that have been scored. So based on this, I mean, we're not going to go aggressive into the market to look for more goals, but we need to do something about lowering our risk because of that potential for the Napoli goal. So I will get involved. We're going to put this scoreline down to 0, the 1-1. And let's just do that, and then you'll see the position it puts us in. So we're now on the 1-1. If it remains 1-1, we're going to end up in a break-even situation, but it's put a bit more green on the 2-1 and the 3-1, which is good. It's also lowered down the 2-1 to Napoli, so that if that worst case scenario happens and Napoli score, we're not going to take a full loss, so at least we've done what we can to get it down, and we'll just take the 72-98 loss on this one. But as it stands, I mean, according to the data, it could well be a deadlock. It could well end up at a 1-1. But anyway, you have to anticipate it's going to open up a bit more in the second half. And ideally for us, what we're looking for is an Inter Milan goal. Let's see what happens. It's 1-1 at half-time. 74 minutes on the clock. Inter Milan have now taken the lead in this one. So we're on that 2-1 scoreline that we planned for. And look, we've got £73 of risk. Let's just immediately remove the risk because a Napoli goal would put us on 2-2, and then we've got nothing much after that. So that's in the market, just waiting to be taken. All right, we might have to just move it up. Let's just move it up. I normally would wait, but we want to just get on with it with these videos for you guys. So let's move it up, get that taken. Then we can have a look at our position. So we've got the 2-1, £43. If it goes to 3-1, we've got 186 on it. And obviously if it goes to 2-2, we would be break even. So let's have a look at the data. And looking at the data, current projected match result is a draw. I mean, actually, hold on, we didn't adjust the score, did I? So 2-1. So yeah, current projected match result is actually the draw, is actually the 2-2. There's no goals overdue. Are we really looking at this thinking Inter Milan are going to score another? They might, but it might just be the time to just take the profit that's on offer. So let's press it. Let's just get it locked in and not mess around. It would be nice if it went to 3-1 to Inter Milan, but there's no real indication of that. Okay, so anyway, that's not to say it won't happen. Just to be clear, it's not to say that won't happen, but we're going to make a data-driven decision. Take the profit that's available, get it locked in, remove all doubt from this one, and exit the trade. So anyway, you saw this one played out. Football Trading Genie, it's been pretty much bang on the money with the scores it's told us to cover. Obviously 1-0, then it went to 1-1. We're on the 2-1. If Inter Milan were a little bit more dominant, I would say let's try and hang on to see if they make it 3-1, but it's looking quite close according to the XG. So in that case, a little bit of doubt, let's get out. Take the profits. £58 a profit. Locked in. Inter Milan 2, Napoli 1 on 76 minutes. 82 minutes on the clock. We just had another goal in this one. As expected, Napoli have levelled it. Inter Milan 2, Napoli 2. And you can see precisely why we exited when we did. Okay, we obviously, and I know that the question is going to come in, hey, look, you had so much more green on the 3-1. Why wouldn't you let it run and try and chase that? We followed the data. The data was telling us the expected match result at this time is a draw. It's no surprise the match has gone back to being a draw. So we took the profits when we did, because obviously we had nothing on the 2-2, did we? So anyway, just wanted to show you that. We're definitely done with the trade. Not sure how this one's going to finish, but we will wrap it up for this clip. Inter Milan 2, Napoli 2. We're going to be trading the correct score market in this one. This is from the German Bundesliga. It's Cologne against Bayern Munich, and Bayern Munich obviously a strong favourite. Plug this into the Football Trading Genie to get the correct score target formula, and obviously look, plan A in favour of Bayern Munich. It's kind of a no-brainer. It's 0-2, 1-2, 0-3 and 1-3. The plan B is just a mere 1-1. So obviously we're very much in favour of a Bayern Munich win. Can't really see past that. So anyway, we're all set up on the correct score market. We've Dutched these scores, and sometimes with regards to matches like this, your biggest fear isn't necessarily the underdog winning the match or doing something during the match. It's normally, will Bayern Munich run away with it? I mean, I think the last match before this they won 8-1 or something like that. So anyway, you've got to keep all that in mind. But anyway, it's going to be interesting to trade. It's Cologne against Bayern Munich. We'll give you more updates in play. So we spoke about a plan B. It's actually deep into first half time added on. We've actually had 8 minutes so far added on in the first half. Okay, and just to show you, just to prove it to you, look, the half-time market is still open. So I just want to show that to you. And obviously we are fast approaching half-time, but it is on the 1-1. So we're in that plan B. The plan B that we're looking at, the only plan B we have really is the 1-1. So Cologne took the lead 41 minutes. Bayern have just equalised on the 50th minute, the 5th minute of time added on in the first half. But anyway, either way, these prices, currently 14 to lay on the 1-1. It's just too high to take any action. So we will let this run probably into the early stages of the second half before we take any action in this particular match. But currently, we're in that plan B scenario. 1-1 on 45 minutes plus 9 minutes added on. So we're now 62 minutes in on this, and it is the second half, just to be clear. So what I'm currently doing is I'm laying off the 1-1 score, as you can see here. So I'm laying off all the green that was on the 1-1, which was £153 of green. But the main reason to do that is obviously it's going to put more green on the 2-1 and the 3-1 to Bayern, which is obviously what we're expecting to end up on at some point. All right, now that's fully taken. So now you can see, so we're going to be break even on the 1-1, and we've got more green now on the 2-1 and the 3-1. But also, it lowers the risk on the overall trade. We had £100 of risk before, we've now got only £48.97. So it lowers the risk substantially, which I do believe we're at that stage where it's getting key, and I'll show you why in just a moment. But also just the fact, look, Cologne took the lead, Bayern have equalised, they're not running away with it, Bayern, and plugging this into the XG calculator. Based on the XG, we should probably be on a draw. So it looks like Bayern are underperforming in this one. The XG is pretty level. So it's also just a bit of a red flag. And now you might think, well, why wouldn't you just exit out, okay, if Bayern are underperforming? And it's a very good question if you did ask that question, because there's a very nice return on it. So, yeah, we could look in a very nice profit. However, for the benefits of the clip, we should let it run, and let's see what happens from there. Let's see if we can make a bigger profit by getting Bayern to take the lead. But otherwise, yeah, you might want to consider just locking in that profit. Bayern underperforming, it's 1-1, there's a nice profit to take. If Cologne score, we're effectively dead. Taking the profit now, there's no shame in that at all. But we're not going to do it. We're going to stick with it. We're going to try and see if Bayern can get the goal to take the lead, and we'll see what that does for us at that point. Cologne 1, Bayern 1 on 65 minutes. 72 minutes on the clock. Normal service has resumed. Bayern Munich have taken the lead, which is no huge surprise considering their starting price on this one. So anyway, let's the first thing is that we're going to just remove the risk, and then we could just look at our positions and make a decision based on everything that's going on. Do keep in mind, we're still obviously concerned. Cologne, a home team, they've already scored once. Bayern Munich not exactly pulling up trees with this performance. So do we want to try and push for another Bayern Munich goal and risk making nothing, or do we want to just lock it in? So look, I mean, based on everything we've seen, I think we're going to make a fair return just to lock it in if it's the £112 return. Let's just get it locked in. Yep. Or 114 if we want to just green it out. Okay. So we'll do that. We'll just keep it simple just for this demonstration, and we'll just run over how this trade went. Obviously, the Football Trading Genie, it led us down this path. It did say, obviously, the plan A was in favour of Bayern Munich. We had the 1-1 as a plan B, a very fragile plan B. We had to kind of use it, didn't we? It went to 1-1 at half-time. We had to put that 1-1 all the way down to 0. It's paid off. We've got Bayern Munich in front. We were on that 2-1 score. It's past the 70-minute mark. We're locking in the profits, and we're pretty much done with this one. So anyway, not much more to say, but a very nice return. £114 locked in. FC Cologne 1, Bayern Munich 2. We are out.
So this trade in the Bayern Munich match was the perfect example of using the AI plus the XG stack system. We used the AI to enter the market, we opened the trade, and then we used the XG to guide us. And we could see that whilst it did look like Bayern Munich were going to take the lead, and we could be confident that would happen, they weren't exactly fully dominating in the match. So it was one of those situations where we knew not to be as aggressive as we could potentially be, and we might want to have been on that 1-1 scenario. We knew to play it a little bit cautious. We should still expect the Bayern Munich goal, but they weren't quite performing how we would typically expect them to perform. So we were just a little bit cautious and didn't take any silly risks, especially with just exiting, especially once it went to the 2-1. Look, the profit was there. Let's just collect it. We're a little bit unsure. So that is just another way of keeping things low risk, okay? So the most typical mistake that newbie correct score traders make when they're trying to trade the correct score market on the betting exchange, this is the biggest mistake that most make, and it's trying to predict the final score of the match. And I see a lot of traders build their target scores around what they think the final score of the match is going to be. And you might be thinking, huh? Well, isn't that the point? It's called the correct score market. Are we not trying to predict the final score of the match? Well, here's the thing. We have to understand what our aims are as football traders. Now, if we were trying to predict the final score of the match, then we should just have a bet and walk away. And that's absolutely fine. If you're going to have a bet, then have a bet. But if we're going to trade and have more control over our outcome and potentially win even when we get it wrong, then we're going to trade, okay? And trading is a completely different approach to having a bet. And when you're having a bet, yes, you're trying to predict the final score of the match, but it's important to understand that as traders, as football traders, you're on a football trading channel, our job is different. We don't predict outcomes, we trade price movement. That is what we're trying to do here. So let me show you what we're actually looking for as football traders on the correct score market. So we're looking for tradable correct scores. So when we're trying to pick out our correct scores before the match, you're looking for tradable correct scores. You're not necessarily looking for what you think is going to be the final score of the match. And this is where so many traders go completely wrong with their approach to trading the correct score market. And what do we mean by tradable correct scores? We're looking for scores that are likely to be passed through during the match. Now, if there is a goal scored in the match to any team, that means that the match is going to go to either 1-0 or 0-1. Okay, this is a score which is going to be passed through during the match. So you might not think that the match is actually going to finish 1-0 or 0-1. However, 1-0 or 0-1 is a very tradable correct score because the match has to pass through that score if there is a goal. Obviously not if it finishes 0-0. So anyway, look, as football traders, our aim is to make the actual final score irrelevant. And as football traders, as correct score traders, we can still profit even if the match finishes on a completely different score from what we've originally picked out. That is most likely why you're on this channel. You're on this channel not because you want to have a bet, cross your fingers and hope. It's because you want to have an advantage. It's because you want to control the outcome and control your own destiny. So anyway, let's look at this graphic. It's a correct score ladder. And as said, we're looking to trade tradable scores. Now, this is a very ideal scenario, but let's say our target score formula is 1-0, 2-0, 2-1, and 3-1. But we might believe this match is going to finish 3-2. We probably wouldn't cover the 3-2 score because obviously 3-2 still a little bit of a long shot. We would cover 1-0, 2-0, 2-1, 3-1. It's 0-0, we get a goal, we're on that 1-0, we lay off the 1-0 because we're expecting further goals. It's a tradable score. That ladders us up, puts us on the 2-0. Now, depending on how this match is developing, we could lay off the 2-0 again, or we could walk away with a profit at this particular point. But let's say we lay off the 2-0. We're now on the 2-1, and depending on our read on the match, we think there's going to be further goals. We lay off the 2-1. It goes on the 3-1. We lay that off. We now land on the 3-2, and we have obviously locked in the profit that we're looking for. But keep in mind, if it didn't finish 3-2, if it finished 3-1, if it finished 2-1, if it finished even 2-0, as correct score traders, we're probably getting a chance to profit and exit from the market with that profit. That is the idea behind correct score trading. And that is why so many traders go wrong, because they might look at this and think, well, I think this match is going to finish 3-2. Let me just back the 3-2. And then they are missing out on all the trading opportunities that can happen on the tradable scores leading up to the 3-2. And just to be clear, this is just a quick example. Obviously, not every match is going to play out as idealistic as this. So the bottom line is, when you're picking out your target scores, your target score formula should cover the tradable scores, not necessarily the score that you think the match is going to finish on. So anyway, we're going to get into some real life examples of this, and we're going to show you which scores are the tradable ones. We're going to use AI to help us pick out these target scores, and we're going to use the Football Trading Genie to do this. Remember, this AI has been trained on everything we've just mentioned. So it's going to give us a target score formula for us to trade on, not necessarily to try and predict the final score. Oh, and it's also trained on every football trading strategy known to mankind, but that's neither here nor there right now. Let's get into some real life demonstrations where we're going to pick out some target score formulas, and we're going to show you exactly what we mean by tradable correct scores. Let's get into that right now. But before we do, if you do like this type of video, hit the like button. If you do enjoy videos like this, it will train the YouTube algorithm to give you more videos just like this, and you'll get more of these types of videos in the future, maybe more videos from this channel. Who knows? Click the like button, also hit the subscribe button and that notification bell also. Let's get into some real life trading demonstrations so you can see exactly what I mean by trading tradable correct scores.
So we're going to be trading the correct score market on this one, which is Lake Como against AC Milan, and it looks like a pretty big price on AC Milan, 2.5. Anyway, we're going to trade the correct score market, so we're going to run this through the correct score, through the football trading genie to give us the target score formula for this one. And let's see what it comes up with. It's obviously going to crunch all the numbers, crunch all the recent correct scores and the timing of the goals to give us what should be the optimal target score formula. And if we just look at this, if I can scroll, yeah, 1-0 to Milan, 2-0, 1-1, 2-1 and 3-1. So pretty heavily in favour of AC Milan with this one. And yeah, anyway, let's get set up. And so we're all set up here. I've gone for a split staking approach on this one. So it's 0-1, 0-2, 1-1, 1-2, 1-3. So obviously we've got 3 score lines which involve Lake Como getting a goal. So we are taking that into account. So anyway, it's going to be interesting. That's the target score formula from the football trading genie. We now need to trade this match. We'll give you more updates in play. So just hit half time in this one. Como 1, AC Milan 1. So Como took an early lead, and we were up against it when the team you're not favouring takes an early lead. Going to be a potentially long match, isn't it? But anyway, look, AC Milan have levelled it right on the stroke of half time. So we still got 1-1 alive, 1-2 and 1-3. We obviously don't have much in favour of Lake Como. So what we will do is we will basically shift our liability on to the 1-1. Okay, so let's try and do that right now, if I can. Okay, so we went in with £100 of liability, and as it stands now, we still got that £100 of liability, but just on the 1-1. The rest of the market, our liability is down to 60. So we just need one goal to get our liability down, but also look on the AC Milan side. We've got some nice green waiting for us if AC Milan can take the lead. If they can take the lead, we're back in business on this trade. If it is Lake Como who score next, or we just don't get any goals, then obviously we're going to have to take some sort of loss on the chin. Let's see what happens though. It's 1-1 at half time. 57 minutes on the clock. AC Milan just taking the lead. So we are truly back in business on this one. We've obviously got 160 of green on the 2-1. We've got 480 of green on the 3-1. And those are our 2 final scores. So we've got to start to make some decisions and obviously consider cashing out. But anyway, look, we feel like AC Milan have got some momentum. And what we will do from here, we can only really take the prices that are there. So what we'll do is we will look to lower the risk on this trade even further by laying off some of the green on the 2-1. And obviously that's there waiting to be taken. And then what you'll see once that is taken, and it is almost taken. So once it is taken, you will see that our worst case scenario from this point would be if Como score another goal. It's a risk we're willing to take in this situation. That would be our worst case scenario, but it would just mean a loss of £35. Okay, our upside is much bigger. If it remains 2-1, we will land this £107 of profit. If it goes to 3-1, we have £505 of green sitting on it, which we can start to try and lock in some of it, not all of it, of course, depending on the time that goal goes in. So anyway, it's obviously calculated risk. If there is another goal, it goes to Como, £35 loss, but it's a small loss in the grand scheme of things. And if there is another goal when it goes to AC Milan, we could improve the situation. Market suspended. We will check on this and we'll see what's going on. And just to come right back, market was suspended, but nothing was going on. So yeah, anyway, we're going to stick to the plan. It's 2-1 to AC Milan, 59 minutes on the clock. 87 minutes on the clock. AC Milan just hit the 3rd goal. We're on the 3-1 scoreline, the scoreline that we were looking for. And so now it is time to definitely look to collect the profits, obviously very, very late in the match. So we're going to lay it off, and also going to lay it off to potentially just leave some upside. Should there be another goal, which would put us on, well, if it's to AC Milan, you're looking at any other away win. And of course, maybe if Como can pull one back, The free 2 has 470 on it. Okay, so obviously the cash out's offering us 384. That would lock it in across all outcomes. As it stands, we would collect the 368 if it remains 3-1. Another goal puts us up to 470. So I know which option is the one I would prefer out of the two. But anyway, that's most likely probably going to be the final goal of the game. But anyway, you saw how this trade played out. It was quite an interesting start with obviously Como taking the lead, and then heading into half time I was considering for sure going strongly against that 1-0 to Como, but anyway that decision was taken out of my hands. It was on the 1-1. You saw what we did on the 1-1. We went to the 1-2, and you saw the position we were in. Even if we didn't get that third AC Milan goal, we still would have had a nice profit on the 2-1 either way. So yeah, played out very, very nicely, and a very nice call on the target score formula from the football trading genie. It has played out almost textbook. So anyway, unless there is another goal, that is probably the end of the trade. It's Lake Como 1, AC Milan 3. So we got Wrexham against Nottingham Forest from the FA Cup. Wrexham at home here, Nottingham Forest away, an odds-on favourite. Run this through the football trading genie, and it's interesting because the football trading genie is going with the underdog on this one, and does say, yeah, the bookmakers, well, obviously favouring Nottingham Forest, but here we're going to be going in favour of Wrexham. So this is going to be interesting. And if you look here at the correct score market, we've got involved split staking, and we've got some big green on scores like 2-0 to Wrexham, even 1-0 to Wrexham. So it's going to be an interesting one to trade. Let's see if it pays off. Just reached half time in this one. Look at that scoreline. Wrexham 2, Nottingham Forest 0. So I did wonder whether the genie was thinking along the right lines with this one, but it's definitely going along the right lines, isn't it? So let's have a look at the correct score market and see what that does for our position. So 2-0 to Wrexham at half time. We did cover obviously 1-0, 1-1, 2-0, 2-1, and the 0-1. So we've got 3 score lines which are actually dead as it stands. 45 minutes left of football. The only other green scoreline, if there is a further goal, is the 2-1. So another Wrexham goal completely kills this, and this is pretty much a no-brainer that we're just going to take the profit at half-time and move on. It's almost a 100% return on our entry. So yeah, and it probably will be. So let's just get that locked in. So in some ways, obviously the genie has forecasters tell us to back these scores. I mean, you never know, it might finish 2-0 for all we know. However, you need to keep in mind, as football traders, we need to think, well, what's going to happen next? Where does probability lead us? And probability wise, if we were to just look at over 2.5 goals, very, very strong probability. So it's like a 75% probability that we're going to get 80% probability we're going to get another goal. And then if it goes to 3-0, we wouldn't take any profit. So most likely this is the best choice to make. Obviously, in other scenarios, if Wrexham score and make it 2-0 very late on in the match, we could lock in an even bigger profit. But as it is, inconveniently for us, they've gone 2-0 up on 39 minutes. But anyway, look, still made a very, very nice return. There was 620 worth of green on that 2-0. Some people might think, oh, well, that's not very good, is it? 620 worth of green. We're only taking 100 out of it. That's football trading, okay? If you want to have a bet, have a bet. That's absolutely fine. But here we are trading. We're never expecting to lock in 100% of that initial green. Anyway, very nice call from the genie on this one. I doubted it. I really did doubt it at the start, but it's led us in the right direction. Wrexham 2, Nottingham Forest 0.
And so this Wrexham match was actually a very good example of looking for tradable scores. The match itself actually ended in a 3-3 draw, okay? But as you can see, by having a good target score formula filled with tradable scores, in this case, we managed to exit early, we exited at half-time, and we made a very nice profit before all the madness happened. So we made a profit even though we got it totally wrong, okay? We had a 2-0 target score as part of our target score formula. The match ended 3-3. We still made a profit, okay? This is the strength of trading the correct score market and having a good target score formula. And as said, picking out tradable scores in your formula. So anyway, look, if you're liking the look of what you see and you are interested in implementing AI into your own football trading, then the tool we're using is the Football Trading Genie. It's not just for the correct score market. There's a lot more to it. But if you want to get a full demo or further info, click the link in the description of this video or scan the QR code that's on the screen right now. This is your own AI-powered football trading assistant. Great bit of kit, absolutely priceless as a time saver, and it can make some pretty good calls, as we just saw in that Wrexham match. I don't think I would have really gone in favor of Wrexham in that particular match. But anyway, as said, if you want to see more about it or get a demonstration, links are in the description of this video, or if it's easier, scan the QR code on the screen. Let's dive back into it right now with more examples of tradable correct scores.
So we're looking to trade this match, which is Preston against Wigan, and it's a cup match. It's an FA Cup match. Preston here, an odds-on favourite. Anyway, we've run this through the Football Trading Genie to get the target score formula that we're going to lock in. And we can see here, expecting kind of a low-scoring win in favour of Preston. So 1-0, 2-0, 2-1, and 1-1, and then 0-1 as the plan B. So anyway, we've got all set up on the correct score market. As you can see here, we're Dutching these scores, and obviously we'll trade in play. Let's see what happens. Preston against Wigan, just about to kick off. So just reached half-time. It's Preston 0, Wigan 0 at half-time. So obviously the score lines, it was swinging towards a low-scoring match, so it being 0-0 at half-time is kind of expected. We could, if we really don't like the look of it, we could pretty much get out for a scratch trade. It's the beauty of correct score trading. Anyway, I've plugged in the numbers for the XG on this one, and the XG is pretty low also. So as it stands, there's no goals overdue. The current projected match result is a draw. So look, you could decide that, hey, do you know what, this match isn't quite like how I expected, or in some ways it is actually how we expected. But you could look at this and just be like, well, do you know what, I don't want to be involved. Let me exit out for a scratch trade. But we did go into this expecting a low-scoring match. We've got 1-0 and 0-1 covered in favour of Preston or Wigan. So actually, this is probably going according to plan. We're going to stick with it. It's Preston 0, Wigan 0. We're not going to take any action right now, but we'll see how the second half develops. 75 minutes. You're not going to believe it. We've actually had a goal in this one. It's Preston 0, Wigan 1. Wigan have taken a lead just now. And if you do remember, Wigan was not the team we favoured. Wigan is the team we've got the plan B on. So as it stands in this late stage, and just to show you, I want to update the XG. Well, I've updated the XG, update the correct score. So it's a very low XG. There's not really many goals overdue. So anyway, look, we're on a plan B sort of scenario. Best thing to do, we're going to lay it off. We're going to lay off all the risk, but potentially leave some upside should there be an equaliser. Okay, so let's do that. We're going to remove all risk from this, and then we'll see where we stand. And so that will put us, I mean, look, there is still profit to be taken, which is fair, and would be a nice profit considering it's been a bit of a dull match. But I do believe it's worth leaving some upside. If we look at that data, it's still saying current projected match result is a draw. We're on this 1-0. If we lay it off, worst case scenario as it stands, we're either going to make £9 or we're going to break even. But if we get an equaliser, we've got some very nice green on that 1-1. So it's good to put yourselves in these positions. Let's see what happens. Preston 0, Wigan 1, 77 minutes. 96 minutes on the clock. There's been a goal, but will this goal stand? It's a big question. And it's not going to stand. Preston just equalised. It's not going to stand. And it looks like that probably the last kick of the ball. Anyway, markets just went suspended. We were looking at potentially being on that 1-1. Goal's been disallowed, and that might well be the end of the match. And yeah, the market's gone suspended, so I don't think anything's going to happen. So there was a goal. The ball was in the net, but it's not going to count. So anyway, very, very close. As you saw, I mean, that's going to be it. So yeah, Preston 0, Wigan 1 is the final score now. So that's confirmed. So anyway, look, I mean, you saw how this match developed. You saw the Football Trading Genie anticipated a low-scoring match. It was low-scoring. It was 0-0 at half-time. We finally got a goal. We got on the 1-0 to Wigan. Not the goal we wanted, so it's an awkward situation. We left a nice profit on that 1-1. It looked like we were going to get there in that last kick of the ball, but it wasn't to be. So we end up actually with a £9 profit. So anyway, look, it's one of those matches. It wasn't exactly a classic. We positioned ourselves nicely. We could have taken a profit when it went 1-0 to Wigan, but I still felt it was worth trying to chase that bigger profit on the 1-1. Didn't pay off this time, but the beauty of trading the correct score market, we broke even. We didn't lose anything. Or in fact, we made £9. That will definitely pay for a nice cold beer. Or at least it might in some places. Anyway, we're out on this one. It's Preston 0, Wigan 1.
So we're going to be trading this Champions League match with Sporting Lisbon against PSG. We're going to trade the correct score market, and we're going to use AI to help us trade the correct score market. So let's head over to the Football Trading Genie, and we're going to click straight away on the correct score trading strategy prompt. And it's going to crunch all the numbers, and it's going to tell us which team to favour and what target score formula to go for. And it's already looking interesting, actually. Just covering the 0-0. You don't see that one too often, but it's telling us to cover the 0-0 as clearly part of the plan B. Then cover the 1-1, the 0-2, 1-2, and 1-3. Anyway, let's get set up. So I got set up. As said, we're covering the 0-0. Not something I would typically do, but anyway, maybe the AI has seen something that we haven't. So 0-0's covered, 0-2's covered, 1-1, 1-2, 1-3. So it's going to be an interesting one. All in favour of PSG. We'll give you more updates in play. So half time, Sporting Lisbon 0, PSG 0. So this 0-0 plan B that we've got is actually going to come in useful. Now you might think, well, if it's 0-0, why not just let it run? And you've got £400 of green on that 0-0. Well, we're much more likely to get a goal than not, okay, probability-wise. So, and we don't have 1-0 or 0-1 covered. So what we're going to do is we will use some of that green, okay? This is what the plan B is all about. The plan B is not necessarily to profit, okay, just to be clear. The plan B is to help you minimize your potential losses. So what we're going to do is we will lay off the 0-0, put it down to 0. All that green is going to go down to 0 on that 0-0, okay? If this match finishes 0-0, we're going to break even. But if we get a goal, then we've got our risk down on the trade, down to a mere £45. And then we still got these green score lines alive, especially if PSG take the lead, which we're still fully expecting in this one. So that's the plan, okay? That's the plan. Let's see what happens in the second half. It's Lisbon 0, PSG 0. Well, that was very, very quick. It went Sporting Lisbon 1, PSG 0 on 74 minutes. From the looks of it, it's just gone to 1-1. So I was trying to set up to record everything. The market went suspended anyway. It does look like it's a PSG goal. Now, anyway, what I was going to say when it was 1-0 to Lisbon was I was going to say we're not going to make any movement anyway because we're on a 1-0. It's down to £45 loss. We don't have 2-0 covered, but I'm very willing to just accept that loss and take it on the chin if we do not get this one right, okay, if we don't land on a target score. So we've minimized the potential loss on this one. Now, anyway, from the looks of it, we're going to swing onto the 1-1, but we're waiting for confirmation. And you know how it is with VAR these days. It could be a bit of a long wait. So we will be right back on this. It's Sporting Lisbon 1, PSG 1, apparently. Okay, goal confirmed. It is Sporting Lisbon 1, PSG 1. So we've got £45 worth of risk in the market. We're going to remove that risk at the very, very minimum. So we're going to lay that off on the 1-1, and you're going to see how that looks now. So we've now got 112 worth of green on the 1-1. We've got 200 on the 1-2 and then 300 on the 1-3. So a nice little ladder if we can get it. Obviously, time is up against us. So you've got a few options at this time as a correct score trader. There's always options. That's the good thing about it. So we could cash out and lock it in, but I don't see any reason to do that because we've got bigger green potentially sitting on the 1-2. We do have to consider that Lisbon, and they've been looking good, if they score, we're going to end up break even. It's not like we're going to take a loss, but we will end up breaking even. And considering we put a lot of hard work into this, we should at least put ourselves in a position where we can make some sort of profit if it is Lisbon to score. So I will lay off some of this, some of the profit we have on the 1-1. And this is what we call profit distribution. You're going to decide where the profits are going to land. So we could even lay off a little bit more. We want to try and maybe have a little bit more upside if Lisbon do nick it. But yeah, let's just get that in the market. And we're going to end up £53 if it remains 1-1. But we got some bigger green on the PSG win, potential bigger green on the Lisbon win also. Let's see what happens. 82 minutes, 91 minutes on the clock. There's been a late goal in this one. It's not quite gone the way that we wanted. As you know, we had big green, 275 of green on that PSG 2-1. It's Sporting Lisbon who have nicked this, and we're going to collect £75 of profit. But hey, it's still a profit. And the most important part of this clip, the most important takeaway is that, remember, this 2-1 to Lisbon was not one of our target scores. Okay, that is the most important takeaway when you think about correct score trading, is that we're trading as the match develops. We've called this wrong. We've got this totally wrong. We went in favour of PSG, or rather, the football trading genie called it wrong. We swung this in favour of PSG. It's going to end up, at the moment anyway, looking like a Sporting Lisbon win at 2-1, and we're still going to make a profit. So that's the beauty of the correct score market. So anyway, we're out on this one. Sporting Lisbon 2, PSG 1, but we've made a profit even though we called it wrong.
We're looking at a match here from the Bundesliga 2 with Fürth against Kaiserslautern. And if you look at this market, 2.9 for the home team, 2.48 for the away team. So it's a pretty even matchup, okay? There is Kaiserslautern are the favourites, but in football, that's not a clear favourite. And as you might know from following a lot of these videos, when we're trading the correct score market, we tend to want a clear favourite, because then we've got a good idea of which correct scores to cover. Well, anyway, we've still got involved and we've covered an awful lot of them. And as you can see, what we've covered here is the 0-1 and the 1-0 to both sides. So no matter who takes the lead, we should be in a position to potentially do something. But then the rest of it pretty much favours the home team, okay, with our plan Bs being things like a 1-1 or a 2-1, and also that 0-1 to Kaiserslautern. So anyway, it's going to be interesting. Let's see how this one goes in play. It's just about to kick off. So here we are at half time in this one, and it is 1-0 to the away team. So that's not great for us. Remember, we've obviously gone in favouring that home team. So 2-0, 3-0, those score lines are completely dead to us. And we're on the back foot, really. We're on the back foot in this one. So anyway, the good news is that we did cover the 0-1 to Kaiserslautern in case of this eventuality, and we're going to anticipate more goals, and also we want to lower down the risk on this as much as we can. And so, no, that's not right. Let me try and put this down to 0. Yeah, let's just lay it off at 6.2, pretty much down to 0, 30 pence. And let's just get that in the market. And so anyway, what you can see is that it's lowered down the risk, so we shouldn't be taking a full loss on this match in the very least, which is good news again. If Kaiserslautern do score again, we've just got to hold our hands up and say, do you know what, we've called it wrong, move on to the next match. At least we've lowered down the loss, right, and not taken a full hit on our stake. But an equaliser to Fürth, and we're back in the match, okay? We're back in the trade, rather. So anyway, let's see what happens in the second half. It's 1-0 to Kaiserslautern at half-time. 55 minutes, we've got an equaliser. We're back in the trade. So it's Fürth 1, Kaiserslautern 1, and that puts us on this 1-1 scoreline. We're going to use some of the green that we built up, and we're going to pretty much sacrifice it. Remember, we're still in danger, okay? We're still in danger on this trade, and if there is another Kaiserslautern goal, that will eliminate us. It will kill the trade, and we'll have to definitely take a loss because we don't have any score lines after that. But anyway, let me try and put this down to 0 and just try and get this in the market. And we should then be in a position where if we do get that Kaiserslautern second goal, our loss now is only going to be around a 31% loss on our stake, which is something we can handle. Okay, now obviously a lot of people, they do watch these videos and they're like, well, what happens when you lose a trade? What happens when it goes wrong? Well, in this case, Kaiserslautern scored the next goal. We're going to lose 30% on our stake, and then that's it. Okay, we just move on to the next trade. The idea is that on the winning trades, we can win a lot more than, say, this 31% loss that we could potentially take if Kaiserslautern do score. But anyway, I'm just looking at that worst case scenario. That's always something to keep in mind. Best case scenario right now, we do get Firth to take the lead, and they go 2-1 up, and we've got a nice bit of green sitting on that, and the 3-1 as well. Break even if it remains 1-1. Let's see what happens. There's lots of time left in this one. It's 57 minutes. It's 1-1. 95 minutes are on the clock, and we've had a very late goal, and it has gone in our favour as Wagner has scored for Firth, and that's put us on that 2-1 scoreline. And as it stands, there's probably nothing more to do, but we're always going to err on the side of caution and lay it off. Okay, and the big benefit of that is that, look, I mean, we're going to leverage up nicely if there is a third goal for Firth as well. So anyway, always worth doing. And anyway, you saw how this trade played out, and this should be hopefully a good example for those who wanted to see trades where it goes slightly against us. Okay, so initially did go against us with Kaiserslautern taking the lead and being ahead at half time. Thankfully we did have some green to play with, but you saw that we put ourselves in a position where we were trying to lower our potential risk. We were always in danger of Kaiserslautern getting that second goal and killing our trade, and we're going to have to take a loss. Okay, and that was always there, and even late on it was still there. Kaiserslautern could have scored, and we're looking at a £30 loss. And anyway, that's one thing we did. We put ourselves in a position where we could minimize that potential loss and maximize that potential gain. And in the end, we've walked out with £186 of profit. Not bad at all. And that is just to confirm the final whistle there. So not bad at all. Okay, we were down to potentially losing £30 or winning £186. That's a very nice risk reward ratio, and that is the beauty of trading the correct score market. If you can get your losses down to something like 30%, like we've just shown you, and get your wins up to 186%, then it takes a lot of the hard work out of this in the long term. So that is definitely the final score. Firth 2, Kaiserslautern 1. And if you like clips like this and you want to see more of it, remember to hit the like button to let YouTube know to give you more videos just like this. Just hit the like button. But anyway, so it's one thing seeing these correct score trading videos. It's a whole different thing actually trying to go into the market and trying to trade the correct score market just based on seeing the videos. Really, ideally, you need to have a step-by-step guide to learning the correct score market, which is why we put together this course, Correct Score Mastery, which is aimed at making you a full master of the correct score market. So the main idea is that if you are serious about this and you like the look of what you see and you want to learn more, then you can obviously take up the course. So let me show you, this is the members area for Correct Score Mastery. So I've just clicked in, as you can see here, and you've got a good idea of the modules. So let me give you an idea of how it all works. I'm going to click into Mindset Mastery. Just to give you an idea of how the course starts. So the course starts by explaining the vision, mission, and principles, and what you're trying to do when you're trying to trade the correct score market. And it's important to have that mindset as you do trade the correct score market, because you might have seen it from the videos, you might have gathered it, but a lot of our main principle, as is covered here, is that we're aiming to remove risk from the trades as our main priority, and then putting ourselves in a position to maximize our profits. So anyway, that is all covered in the mindset module. It's obviously important to start there, but I do think for most people it's going to be this technical mastery module, which is where a lot of people are really going to be in, well, you know, they're really going to be interested in this, aren't they? So let me just quickly scroll down just to show you. You've got all these videos. They're all in your members area. You can watch this from any device, whether it's your laptop, whether it's on your phone or a tablet, and you just press play on the videos. It's as simple as that. I'm not going to mess around with it, but it's just pressing play and then you go. So let me show you the videos that are here. As you can see, all very short, bite-size sorts of videos. And this will teach you pretty much all the techniques that you would have seen us do in the videos on a lot of the trades. I know that, and a few people have said it when they watch the videos, everything's moving so fast, not everything is fully explained. And we did have someone say, hey, do you know what? I would really love it if you could just break it down for me step by step and show me exactly what I've got to do and how I've got to do it. So I said, well, that's why we have the course, for exactly that. So let me just quickly show you this. So look, video 1, we're going to show you how to set up your account properly for correct scores trading, which most probably have anyway. We'd also show you how to filter for the qualifiers and to find the suitable matches for trading the correct score market, which is very important. The 2+ rule, the correct score market movement explained, and this is quite crucial because we always say when you're trading correct scores, it's a little bit like a chess match where you've always got to think a goal or two ahead and what that next goal will do for the market. Then we get on to things like this where we talk about the entry techniques into the market, the pros and cons of each. So we've got obviously the Dutching, we've got the split staking, also skew staking, which is very underrated and not really used by that many. We haven't actually showed that in any YouTube videos, but we do show it inside the course. So what I will do, I'm going to jump into a real life example actually right now, just highlighting the importance of learning more about this, the 2+ rule. So I'm going to get into a real life demonstration where we were trading a match and then we had to take action based on this. So let's get into that trade right now. So we're looking at this one. It's Athletic Bilbao against Real Madrid. We're going to be trading the correct score market on this one. Real Madrid favourites, as you would expect, and a pretty high price for Real Madrid, 1.87 as we speak. So anyway, leading into this match, bit of some tricky form for Real Madrid. So we're going with a Real Madrid win. We're also covering a plan B. We're expecting goals. Our plan B is going to be a 2-2. Okay, so our plan B could be a 1-1, could be maybe a 1-0 to Athletic Bilbao, but we're expecting some goals. 2-2 is where we're going to land with our plan B. Hopefully we don't even need it. Let's see what happens. We'll give you more updates in play. Half time, it's Athletic Bilbao 0, Real Madrid 2. So 2-0 to Real Madrid. We're on the 2-0 to Real Madrid score. We've currently got all our scores alive, and you would think that looking at this situation, this is as good as it gets. Well, it is a very, very good situation, but the big question is, do we continue with the trade? You do have a lot of options. We could obviously lay off this 2-0, try and chase further goals in the second half. But what we're going to do, I will actually just lock in the profits, and then I'll explain why once that is done. So let's just press this button and get it locked in. And we're almost done. I have to just press it again. Typically, we'll have to do that on the correct score market. Could take 2 or 3 presses. So anyway, we've got it locked in. So look, we went in with a £100 stake. We've now got £88 locked in. It's an 88% return on your stake. That's pretty good. Now here's the reason why you might want to consider this half-time exit. So we're on this 0-2 score. You can see it's 5.6 to lay. So if we obviously had bigger green on the 0-3 and 3-1, etc. You might think, well, we should chase that. Another goal, it's just going to increase our profits. Actually, it's not the case. So if there is another goal, say in the first 20 minutes of the second half, we lose our 0-2, we lose our 1-2 also, unless it goes to 1-2, but let's say it goes to 3-0 to Madrid. We lose those two score lines, and as said, this 5.6 on the 0-2 actually goes on to the 0-3, or close to it. So we end up in a situation where this 0-3 price could actually drift, and bottom line, this £89 that we could lock in right now wouldn't be available if there is another goal early in the second half. So you're only really going to learn that with experience in the correct score market, and a lot of people do misunderstand the correct score market. They might think, well, look, we're on 2-0. If we hit that 3-0, it's going to be an even bigger profit. It all depends on the timing of when you hit that 3-0 or the 2-1 or the 3-1. And ideally, you want to hit those scores late in the second half. So looking at this match, the way this is developed, Real Madrid are absolutely firing. They're absolutely dominating Bilbao. They're 2-0 up. Can I see this remaining goalless in the early stages of the second half? Probably not, the way it's looking. So when there is a profit available to take, if you're in any doubt, just take the profit and get out. So we are taking the profit on this one. Typically, you might see us want to try and chase a bigger profit to try and make it a really cool clip for YouTube, but we're not doing that anymore. Sensible trading. Athletic Bilbao 0, Real Madrid 2. We're exiting at half-time with a profit. So as said, this is the type of stuff that we teach you inside the course, so you know how to make all these decisions, and you can make these decisions for yourself when you're in the markets. And by the way, link is in the description. If you are watching this and you are interested in taking this course, then the link is in the description to get on the waiting list for the course itself, okay, for Correct Score Mastery if you haven't done it already. But anyway, we're showing you what is in there for this year. It's obviously been heavily updated since it first launched, but also you get onto techniques like this. You learn the liability function, how to go zero liability, how to remove risk when you're on target scores. You learn how to find the real prices in the market, so not necessarily the prices that are available immediately as the market reforms. We show you how to find those real prices, how to take them, okay, how to put yourself ahead of everyone else so you can take the real prices and extract as much value as possible out of the markets. And we show you the green shift, how to move green around. It's something we do a lot in the YouTube videos. Not everyone quite grasps it just from seeing the demos, but of course these videos, it's all broken down step by step. You learn exactly how to do everything. You learn how to use the market probability to make your predictions. The emergency cash out, that's the manual cash out. So we show you how to do the manual cash out. Again, that's not something we really do on YouTube. On YouTube, it's more just press that cash out button and move on. It looks a little bit cooler. But in the courses, we show you the real way of cashing out the markets manually, a little bit more fiddly, but very, very important. If you want to go to the next level, become a master of the market, then it's important to learn this. And especially in the late stages when you're trading correct scores, you're going to need it. So anyway, that is in there also. You've also got how to follow matches in play, the profit distribution techniques. Again, not something we've shown on YouTube, really, not in detail. I've kind of done it on a few videos, but we haven't really showed it to you. Also the one tick trick. So lots of stuff we haven't shown you how to do on YouTube. A lot of stuff that we've done on YouTube, but you haven't really, it hasn't really been explained how we're doing it. This is the module where all of that is explained, okay? And you're going to have all the tips and tricks. They're all going to be right in your arsenal, right in your weaponry as you are trading the correct score market. And just to come out of it, so after you've learned all the technical stuff, obviously, then you've got a whole bunch of systems. So you've got the Q-Lite system. We're not going to cover that today, but we will look at the Q systems and what you can potentially learn within those systems. So let's click into this now and get an idea. So obviously, intro videos will cover your mission, your staking, your profit aims. Then we cover finding the qualifiers and how to research the matches. And then we follow the most ideal target score formula. Okay, so this is a pretty much a universal target score formula is the best way to think about it. In an ideal world, you would find a target score formula for every single match before you get involved. But it's not always possible. So we give you what is probably the most optimal universal target score formula to follow. And then you've got the 3 different systems, and they're kind of ranked on difficulty, so from beginner to advanced. And so we'll dive into, let's dive into the beginner, I guess. Let's have a look at it just so you can get an idea of how it all works. So you've got this main video that'll teach you the system itself. Then you've got the live trades library where we demonstrate the trades or the system across lots of different matches, and you can play all of those, and we show you the winning trades. Most importantly, we show you the losing trades, also how you handle the losing trades, what you can do when you get in those sticky situations. Okay, so full trading library is in there, and that is the beginner system, but it warms up a bit once we get onto the Q green, which is a little bit more advanced. So you've got the Q green system, you learn the main system, obviously very detailed. This is a 38-minute video which shows you how detailed this particular system is. Then you might want to be interested in this. It's the insurance modules, okay? The 1-point cover, the dual method. So we basically show you how you can start to remove risk on certain score lines as you're trading the match, with the idea being you're going to try and get yourself into a risk-free position. So that is something we haven't covered too much on YouTube. And I looked around and I looked through our old clips, and I I could find one. I could find one where we kind of hinted at what you learn in the Q Green. So, if anything, let's check out that clip right now. So we're getting involved in this match. It's the Turin derby with Torino against Juventus. Look at that draw price, 2.94. You don't normally see a draw price below 3. You don't normally see under 2.5 goals starting at around 1.46 or over 1.5 goals. So look, this is expected to be low scoring. We've covered all those low scores, as you can see. We're probably going to have to try and scalp that 0-0 in play as well as some sort of insurance. Anyway, let's see what happens as this develops. So it's half time in this one, and it's 0-0, which is no huge surprise. Just showing you the XG data there, because we're going to refer to that in a minute. But just to show you, look, we've covered that 0-0 during the first half. We scalped that down all the way down to 0. So that puts us in a very good position now for this particular match, because it doesn't look like there's going to be many goals. However, we're expecting 1 goal, at least, to Juventus. So we're going to hang in, looking for that 1 goal. We could cash out for, say, what, £23 of profit there, but we're going to try and hang on for that 1-0 to Juventus and then see what develops. Okay, 1 goal could open the match. But either way, we're covered on that 0-0. So we shouldn't lose if it remains 0-0. Anyway, let's see how the second half develops. We're late in the match on this one. It's still 0-0, and it's probably going to finish 0-0. Okay, so anyway, as you know, we've covered that 0-0. We've taken the insurance on the 0-0. And nothing's happened. No goals have gone in. There's no action to take. We're just going to end up breaking even on this one. So it just shows you what you can do on the correct score market. We took the insurance on the 0-0. We've had that insurance kick in. And bit of a boring match. We weren't watching it, so no real time lost. But in the end, yeah, it's going to finish probably Torino 0, Juventus 0. So that clip kind of gives you a quick hint at what you can expect within the Q Green. We're basically showing you how to set up insurance within the match. So when you're trading the correct score market, you're setting up your plan A, your plan B, and you can also start to take insurance on certain danger scores also. Anyway, we explain all of that inside the course, and then we got that live trading library, as you can see here, which will show you many examples of exactly that. And then once that is done, you still got the Q Red system, which is the most advanced, most powerful. And in this one, we're not just removing risk, we're actually building up green on additional score lines. So you've got your initial target score formula, and now we're looking to not just put some of those scores down to 0, but actually build up some green on additional scores. So if you do like the sound of that and a lot of what you're hearing, remember, link is in the description to join the waiting list for Correct Score Mastery, and hopefully there should be something available very soon, depending on when you're seeing this video. So anyway, the live trading library is here also for the Q Red, and yep, looking just as good. Okay, possibly needs some additions to it, and that's another plus point with the course. We're always updating it. Okay, we're always updating it. It did initially launch a couple of years ago, but we've updated it since, and we've added a lot to it. Okay, it's not a static course, which is just based in the past. It's always being updated as the markets change and as the markets develop. So anyway, that is what you learn there with the Q systems. Let's go back to this. You've obviously got the platinum section also, which I'm not actually going to cover in this video because we're already getting stuck for time. I mean, look at that clock. So I will cover what comes up in the next modules. We then got the recovery module as well. So let's just quickly click into that, so you've got an idea of it. Okay, and we kind of show you how to get out of bad, sticky situations. Okay, we kind of show you your options for when trades go wrong. And yeah, we show you how those options can play out with a lot of demonstration trades for you to check out there also. And that's probably, again, something we don't really cover too much on YouTube. On YouTube, you kind of got to be positive, so we don't really show you the ins and outs of that. So that's another big plus point. And then this is the most important part of the course, really, and it's something a lot of the Correct Score Mastery members seem to miss, is that once all this is done, the main idea is for you to become a master of the correct score market and to be doing stuff like this, picking out your own target score formula. Okay, this is one of the main keys of it. As said, to start to apply skew staking. It is not something we've shown at all on YouTube, and a lot of members seem to miss this part of it, because once you've learned everything earlier in the course, especially the Q systems, the Q system target score formula, it's now down to you to pick your own target scores and apply some skew staking if you really want to become a master of the correct score market. Okay, and then there is a toolbox. There is some extras available in there, especially the correct score simulator, which is very, very good. So you can just start to practice those correct score strategies without risking any of your money, and you can really get a good understanding of the market from that. But overall, this is correct score mastery, and this is the logical next step. If you really are interested in improving with your correct score trading, going to the next level, then this is here for you as an option. As said, the link is in the description to get on the waiting list or to learn how to get involved in it. And we've got another live trade coming up, and this is the main idea, is that once you learn how to trade the correct score market, you could be trading markets and matches just like this. So got a match from the Dutch league here. Go Ahead Eagles against Alkmaar. Alkmaar, the away team, and odds on favourite here, as we can see, 1.88. And let's have a look at the over 2.5 goals. Expecting goals in this one, 1.8, as you would expect in the Dutch league. And so let's look at what we've done in the correct score market, covering score lines in favour of Alkmaar, favouring goals, and a little bit of a plan B with the 2-2, 1-2 and 1-3. So anyway, yeah, it's just about to kick off, as you can see. Let's see what happens in play. We just reached half time in this one, and this one is going to plan so far. Alkmaar have taken the lead. They took the lead around the 38th minute. So they're leading 1-0. That keeps all our target score lines alive as it stands. And so not much else to do just yet. Let's see how the second half develops. 59 minutes on the clock, just landing on that target scoreline. It's just on 2-0 to Alkmaar. And we could lock in pretty decent profit there, £107. That's 107% return on our stake. Of course, what we're going to try and do though, we're going to try and see if we can get more out of this, okay? And by doing that, we've got to risk at least maybe breaking even on this. So let me just show you what we're going to do. Is we're going to lay off all the green that is on this 0-2 scoreline, lay it off at odds of 3, and so that should get taken in just a moment, and then you'll see that that will bump up the profit on the next possible scoreline, the 0-3 and also the 1-2, also the 1-3 as well, still in play at the same time. So look, obviously, and to be honest, this is a pretty decent profit. More than 100% return on your stake is always good when trading correct score market, so you might just want to take this at this particular point. But of course, we might be able to get more. We might be able to race this and get a bigger profit out of it. So let's see what happens. You can see the bet is slowly being taken. I'm sure it will be taken in just a moment, as you can see. And so, okay, let's see what this has done. Is that going to be a red card? Are they looking at a red card there? No, I don't think it's going to give a red card. But anyway, that bet is there. It should get taken in just a moment, and it's pretty much taken now. Also lowers our risk on this down to just £40. Okay, finally you can see it. Okay, so let's see what happens. There's still around half an hour left in this one. 2-0 to Alkmaar. "87 minutes on the clock, and very, very nice goal has just made it Alkmaar 3, Go Ahead Eagles 0, or 0-3 in this case. So let's just lock it in. Tiny VAR check. I mean, it was like a 25-yard strike, but sometimes VAR can always find things that we haven't seen. But anyway, yeah, goal definitely stands. And so remember, we were looking at £100 to lock in earlier on after the 2-0, but we took a bit of a risk. I say a bit of a risk. I mean, we put the 2-0 down to 0 to break even if there were no further goals, to try and chase a bigger profit. This time we've succeeded. We've hit the 3-0 target score, and we've hit a level up of the profits. Okay, let me just show you another thing to do, and we're going to do it right here, just in case there is another goal. Let's try and give ourselves an even bigger profit. Okay, it's injury time, and so let's just lay off some of the 0-3 at 1.22, and then that will put an extra 100 on the next possible score lines, as you can see. So if Alkmaar were to make it 4, any other away win or a goal pulled back, and we can increase the profits. Okay, and increase them very nicely actually on the 1-3. So always worth doing late on. Don't just walk away from it. Always try and leverage up your green. But that's pretty much it. As you can see here, the trade worked out very, very nicely for us, and you saw what we did on the 2-0 scoreline to try and increase those profits for no real added risk. So just keep that in mind. Looks like probably the final score in this one. Go Ahead Eagles 0, Alkmaar 3. 92 minutes on the clock. Penalty just converted by the Go Ahead Eagles. So that puts us on that 1-3 scoreline. So, yeah, we're going to... Well, I'm going to try and see... Because there could still be another goal in this, of course. But anyway, as you know, that we had a nice bit of money sitting on that one. 682 profit. We're going to lay some of that off just to make sure we've got that pretty much greened up. As you can see, the cash out's there at 654. And so let's just put it in again. You never know. Could be another goal. This is the Dutch league. It's full of goals, as we know, right? So let's do that, and then that could level us up again if there is another late goal. But probably that is it now because there's about 20 seconds left. But yeah, so some good examples here of obviously what you saw what we did. We were looking at a 100 cash out if we just exited early at the 2-0, but we leveraged it up. We got onto the 3-0. That gave us around 250 of profit. Left a nice bit of green on that 1-3 scoreline, and now we've hit it. So looks like we're gonna probably then exit out of this one with a 650 profit this time. I think this one is the final score this time. Go Ahead Eagles 1, Alkmaar 3. Okay, I'm back again. Looks like we could have another goal here. Not sure if you're allowed to see the footage, but looks like we could have another goal to Alkmaar. Let's see what happens. If you can see the footage, then that would be great. Possibly an offside. They're doing a VAR check on this one, but it looks like there's another goal. So it will just show you that I was exactly right in doing exactly what I did with regards to laying it off again. I know some people would be like, well, what's the point? The match is almost over. No, always look out for more goals. And so if this goal stands, we've gone onto the VAR, and that will bump up our profit on up to 753. And let's see what's going on. It didn't look offside, but anyway, let's have a closer look. And are they going to chalk it off? And then we're back to the previous profit. No, he's given the goal. He's given the goal, hasn't he? So, yep, there you go. And that should be the end of the match. So, yes, very, very nicely done. As you can see there, a flourish, late flourish of 3 goals very late on. Leveraged up that green very nicely. Landed on the 753 profit, as you can see there. Okay, we'll just bring it into focus. So, now is the final score. Now I'm sure it's the final score. Go Ahead Eagles 1, Alkmaar 4. And that match was a very, very good example of what can happen when you're trading the correct score market. When everything aligns and you kind of follow the system, follow the process, you can land some very, very juicy profits. And it's a very exciting market to trade. As we said in quite a few videos, you're going to get yourself into a position where you're going to make money. It's just a matter of how much, and it's only really the correct score market that can deliver that sort of possibility. But anyway, I think you've seen enough to know whether this is something you're interested in or not. If you want to join the waiting list, if you want to get more information about it, you can click the link in the description or just scan the QR code. So as said, you've probably seen enough. And if not, then that's absolutely fine. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed checking out this video, and there are more videos on the screen for you to check out right now. So just click on that video and I'll see you in the next video.